I'm at a loss for words. And you guys know me. I'm usually not. So I don't know what just happened. I saw the video. Eric Kanevsky goes to a gym in South Florida and meets up with Wes Watson after not once but twice on two separate occasions. Wes Watson basically said that he liked Eric. On the first occasion, he just directly said he liked Eric, he liked his content, he thought it was funny. He even said that he normally would not find a spoof video funny. Shocker. And then on another video, he basically calls out to anybody and everybody, bring me your masses of 5'8" people. Let's take a friendly side-by-side picture to show the world, that he's 6 feet tall, 250, and all that fun stuff. So Eric and his crew, and he brought numbers, which is smart, because we all know what would have happened if Johnny Bravo had gone on there. It would not have been a fair fight. The 7 foot tall monster was probably more like 6'5", but in any event, he got jumped by Dumb Nick, who was actually in this video as well. Dumb Nick actually was one of the more aggressive people. Mr. FUJI was also there. Mr. FUJI is the guy that hit the 7 foot tall guy that's really 6 foot, probably 3, with a dumbbell. Dumb Nick is the one that kicked him and then told the cop, well, I don't know if I even made contact. And the cop said, you made contact. The video shows you made contact. He's like, okay, that's Dumb Nick because he's dumb. We call him Dumb Nick. And, so basically, Dumb Nick was there and he was in a very, very prominent role. Some videos ago where I basically talk about the hierarchy and if there's going to be an heir or somebody like a street boss or a ruling panel or something that's going to keep a fitness empire going, send him money so that he can get socks and boxer shorts and ramen noodles and just tons of summer sausage, and basically make sure that he's well taken care of. Now, what's interesting, all jokes about the summer sausage aside, is that he's not being protected. See, I thought for sure with the kind of money that he supposedly makes, I would have thought, and also with his little Rick Ross, name drops there with his bags and all this other stuff, these collaborations. I mean, Rick Ross, that's a name in South Florida. Now if Rick Ross, was looking after Wes, those guys never would have gotten close to that gym, ever. Not to say that they're, thugs or anything like that, but they were just basically media people. They never would have made it in there. They wouldn't have been allowed in. They wouldn't have beat him up. They just wouldn't have allowed him in. Or at the very least, they would have tipped Wes off, and the element of surprise would have been lost. I think part of the reason why Wes went from 0 to 100 on Eric was because Wes is a small man. Now, I'm not referring to the fact that he's 5'8" or just 230 and not 250. I'm referring to the fact that he's got a fragile ego, that he's a narcissist, and I think that it is possible that he did find Eric funny. It is possible that he would have, been cool to meet up with him, but he did not like the element of surprise. He did not like feeling like he was the last to know kind of thing. Also, I think that if he truly did like Eric and Eric's content, which I think maybe he did, I don't know. I don't understand this guy at all. If he knew Eric was coming, maybe he would have softened up his crew a little bit because his crew looks pretty amped up. And so I think that, I'm not defending Wes by any stretch because the guy he's a piece of shit, but he's a piece of shit. But the thing is, I'm trying to rationalize or at least understand why somebody who's allegedly a fan and who really had no reason to put it out there that he was a fan would react that way to a fan. Like I 110% believe Eric thought he was going there to meet a fan. Could it be a little contentious? Of course, because look, he's measuring people, their height, and he's weighing them. And in the sport of bodybuilding, look, there's airbrushing that's used. There's a chiropractor can add an inch to you to get on stage. There's Botox, there's tummy tucks, lipo, plastic surgery, PMMA, all sorts of stuff, right? So, look, I make the example of Dog the Bounty Hunter. when he got arrested in Mexico, I was like, who is that guy? He lost 6 inches because he wore lifts in his boots. You know what I mean? And so I think that the fact is the element of surprise was gone. Now, even though like John Bravo says he was probably still wearing his lifts because he was doing a video shoot, but I don't think that he liked the element of surprise. And I also don't think that, I think that maybe if he would have been cool to Eric, his crew might have thought that weird, because I think that these guys, they probably like take turns punching each other like in the ribs or something, or like we used to do in Kung Fu. We used to do like take a bamboo and like go like this on your shins, just pain, you know what I mean, just nonstop pain. And there's not, I didn't notice any women. I saw like a blonde woman in the far back of the gym, you know, but amongst that crew, I didn't see any women or anything. I just saw a lot of guys. Some of them were shirtless. Mr. Fuji was wearing a tank top. But the thing is, I think he was, I'm not sure, but very hostile, very aggressive. And again, it's just one of those things. John thinks that Dumb Nick looks like a transvestite version of Peg Watson. It's possible. I think he also said that the person that we call Dumb Nick on this channel also resembled. I think what he said was I think he said a transvestite Freddy Krueger or something like that. And then for Mr. Fuji, who we call him Mr. Fuji. We just started doing that today. I think he calls him Fu Manchu. Which is, I think, a lot catchier than whatever I've come up with. Mr. Fuji was a fat Asian man who dressed very nice and was part of the wrestling world. So, you know, maybe it's not the most accurate, you know, attribution to call Fu Manchu Mr. Fuji over here, but we're going to call him Mr. Fuji, and we're going to continue calling the stupid one Dumb Nick. We're going to keep calling him Dumb Nick, although John Bravo thinks that he is, you know, more looking like a trans Freddy Krueger. Some other characters present as well, but basically your sort of, you know, ex-con, sort of Latino. We didn't have a lot of woodpile looking guys in there. For a guy that is a shot caller in the woodpile, you got Dumb Nick, who's like a greaseball, and then you got Mr. Fuji, you know, who when he's not working at the gym, he's laying down the railroad, you know what I mean? So, you know, where are the rednecks, the trailer park people? You know, where are the guys that haven't blinked since like 3 a.m? Like, that's the wood pile, man. And really, you're just, I mean, it looks like you're getting down a lot with the Cubans and the Italians. Whatever, Dumb Nick, I think, is Italian, but maybe that's a fake New York accent. You know, maybe he's, you know, like you. I don't know. But I don't see any color sort of, I don't see any color schemes that would make me think that you guys were protected. Like, none of the people around you, none of them are, I'm just going to say, I don't see anybody around you in the gym or outside of the gym that is protecting you. So I don't think that you have any protection personally. Now, I may be mistaken. I don't know. But honestly, like, I just happened to, like, listen to one of these, like, stories while, you know, I was just flipping through, and I could have sworn that Wes was talking about some sort of, like, handbag collab with Rick Ross. And I know that's all that was, but for him to name drop Rick Ross, that's like in Miami, that's like name dropping Luke, you know what I mean, or Trick Daddy. I mean, that's a big deal. So I don't know if I would be shocked if Rick Ross even knew who Wes Watson was, but you know, people have been messaging me, oh, you think that so and so, or this one set from the Pork and Beans, or do you think maybe, you know, who is watching your back right now? And I would say no one is watching your back right now. That would be my guess, because again, like, I mean, and the fact you're so amped up, these guys are probably super paranoid. And I don't know, like, you're not, you know, people are not scared like that of law enforcement. I don't know if you could see, I mean, they looked angry. They looked like legit angry. And one guy said they were going to murk somebody, which you know what that means. But there was no need to be that on edge. Like, I feel like these guys are on edge because, again, I don't know the victim. I don't know if the victim has, a first cousin that's maybe linked up, or maybe has, an uncle that's linked up, that's like an OG heavy hitter, because in Miami that still counts for a lot. And I'm not, listen, this is true. If you study up on the current state of gangs, street urban gangs, the one thing they're missing, which the Italians aren't missing, which the Asians aren't missing, like the triads are not missing this, the Irish, the Jewish, the Russian, the Ukrainian, all of the organized criminal organizations, they all have this one thing that most American street gangs are missing. Do you know what that is? A hierarchy. They're missing a hierarchy. They're like very local sets, but they don't respond to like a regional or a national or even an internet. They don't do that. Like the motorcycle clubs, the one percenters, they all have that rigid hierarchy. The street gangs don't. So in Miami, it is the exception. Because in Miami, like an OG still carries a tremendous amount of weight, whereas maybe like in Chicago or New York, maybe not so much. Maybe that OG might even get mouthed off to by some street punks, like some 19, 20-year-olds. In Miami, that doesn't happen. In Miami, the OGs carry a tremendous amount of respect on the street. And law enforcement, to a certain degree, in my opinion, they kind of like keep, kind of like the paparazzi used to do with celebrities. They kind of keep, I'm not saying that they turn an eye to illegal activity. I'm just saying, first of all, the OGs are not committing illegal activities. They're already insulated. They're far up. They might even be like a minister, a shoe keeper, shoe shop owner, whatever, restaurant owner, but everybody knows who they are. And so what I'm trying to say is in the fashion game and in the music business, Rick Ross is an OG. So that's what I'm saying. To me, when I saw that, I mean, I'm not going to be able to really let go of that until I figure out what that collaboration exactly is, because I heard the name Rick Ross come out of the lips of Wes Watson, and that has intrigued me. But no, I mean, no, there's nobody watching their back, and they're so on edge. These guys came in with the best of intentions, thankfully in numbers, thankfully recording, and they still got death threats. So you know what I mean? So it was never a one-on-one. That poor guy that went to Elevation Fitness in Miami, Florida, never had a chance. And, again, as John Bravo Film says, these guys talk a really tough game in groups. But what would they say in person? I don't know. I'm not looking to find out, but I want to applaud Eric Kanevsky and his whole team. They did a phenomenal job. I love the skit at the end about 5'8", and even how the guy said he looks 5'8", but he said he's 6 feet tall. So in any event, good job, guys. I would not do it. I will not do it. But I mean, hey, listen, this is like a wartime correspondent, and what's crazy is that he went there thinking the guy would actually have a laugh. And as John Bravo Film says, this would have been a great opportunity for Wes and his crew to at least somewhat turn around that PR nightmare they find themselves in. I mean, Wes is facing felony charges. He could do as much as 15 years in prison. Dumb Nick, Mr. Fuji, these guys are easily co-conspirators. And look at their behavior. I mean, these guys are almost like asking to get indicted, asking for the state to file charges on them. So again, I got to tell you, it's one of those things, guys. It is one of those things, and I don't suspect these people are ever going to change. And at some point, they will probably do somebody very, very serious harm. Maybe so much so that, well, you know where I'm going with that. For somebody to say they would murk them on video, knowing how viral this video will go after what John Bravo Films has done, to still say that and to say it to the point where the person on the receiving end actually has a credible fear that this person may actually do that is wild to me. It is, and I don't know what gym they were at, and I don't know what gym would even let them in there. It seems like a walking liability, because they certainly haven't changed. I'm telling you, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. And as John Bravo Films said, this story was pretty much gone. It was done, And here it is. I mean, now, we're going to be talking about this for the next week or two. You know what I mean? And at some point, somebody that is affiliated and has a YouTube channel is going to want to go over there and measure the guy or do an interview with him. And if that, Clown Squad tries to do what they did to Eric or what they did to the 7-foot tall monster, they're going to have a real problem, because if the channel or channels or people that go in there are affiliated, 305 Ticket to the House affiliated, they're going to have a problem too. And that's coming. Because where there are hits, there's YouTubers.